In June in Canton, the weather gradually warmed up, and the buzzing of insects mixed with the stuffy atmosphere, making the parents waiting outside even more anxious. Fong Vu parked the car in the shade of a tree, where it wasn't too hot. He reclined the seat and lay back in the car, his long legs resting on the steering wheel, then turned on the music and air conditioning, looking relaxed and enjoying himself. Kiyu Meme entered the examination room, placed all the prepared items on the desk, and began to wait for the exam time. After checking against the examination admission slip, the first bell rang, and the invigilator opened the sealed exam papers in front of everyone and began to distribute them. The examination room was completely silent, with only the rustling sound of pens writing. The exam time passed extremely quickly. When Kiyu Meme stopped writing, there were only 15 minutes left until the submission time. Kiyu Meme carefully checked her paper one last time. Just in time, the second bell rang. Kiyu Meme had finished tidying everything up, and now just waited for the invigilator to call people up one by one to submit their papers. In the car, the man had fallen asleep long ago due to the long wait. He hadn't had a good night's sleep for a month. If he wasn't on a mission, he was on his way to a mission. In short, he always lacked sleep. Kiyu Meme stood outside the car and looked through the window for a long time, until all the cars around had left. Then she knocked on the car window. Although Fong Vu was sleeping, he was always vigilant. When he heard movement, he immediately opened his eyes, and those sharp eyes showed no sign of sleepiness, but rather were very alert. Fong Vu quickly turned his head to look at the passenger seat and saw Kiyu Meme standing outside the door. He gradually relaxed and unlocked the car. Kiyu Meme got in the car, looked at his haggard face and said, "I'm done with the exam. Let's go home." Fong Vu nodded and drove away. "What do you want for lunch today?" The exam center was very close to home, only a 10-minute drive, so there was plenty of time. Fong Vu decided to make Kiyu Meme's favorite dish, so the little girl could rest for a while after eating. Kiyu Meme thought for a moment and said, "Noodles are fine. I don't have much appetite." Fong Vu's mind quickly worked, and he finally decided to make cucumber mixed noodles. Lunch was very simple. Fong Vu also made a plate of vegetable salad for the little girl to eat to cool down. Kiyu Meme went back to her room after eating. Fong Vu even thoughtfully set an alarm for Kiyu Meme. Lying on the sofa, Fong Vu suddenly remembered the day Kiyu Meme lay beneath him, her tender, naked body opening up for him. His heart suddenly stirred, and Fong Vu happily unzipped his pants and pulled out his erect little brother. Finally, there was a reaction. Fong Vu's heart was extremely excited during this time. No matter what he did, his little brother didn't react at all. This made him very anxious, but now it's good. He can finally rest assured. This gun of his had only been to the battlefield once, and he was just a rookie. The gun looked clean and new, but it wasn't cute at all. It was big and long, looking very fierce. Kiyu Meme was once driven crazy by it, even though it only lasted a few minutes. Thinking of Kiyu Meme's moans, Fong Vu's heart itched, and he became more and more erect. Fong Vu moved gently, because he had been holding back for a long time without release. He was extremely sensitive. Moreover, just thinking of Kiyu Meme's charming face made his lower body ache with swelling. When Chao Ran came out of the bedroom, she saw a very interesting scene. The handsome man was lying on the sofa, one leg on the sofa, the other dangling on the floor. His clothes were neat, but his right hand kept moving up and down between his legs. It seemed the man was reaching a climax, occasionally letting out soft moans. Chao Ran stood by the door with interest, watching Feng Yu's movements get faster and faster. At this moment, Feng Yu was immersed in pleasure, his mind filled with images of Chao Ran, and him being forceful with Chao Ran. In his mind, he heard the little girl's coquettish moans, her charming face and swollen red lips uttering, "Uncle Feng, too deep, more. Ran wants more." His large hand grabbed Chao Ran's buttocks. He held them tight and excitedly thrust deep inside, going deeper and deeper. Feng Yu increased his wrist strength. His eyes turned red, then his waist suddenly arched, and the expression on his face was slightly fierce. An intense pleasure struck him. Feng Yu gritted his teeth and turned his head to the side. His gaze just happened to stop at the door of Chao Ran's bedroom. Feng Yu was so scared that his eyes widened, and his scalp went completely numb. At this moment, the pleasure in his body was reaching its peak. His muscles were tense, and his little brother in his hand trembled a few times, spurting out a milky white fluid. Feng Yu's mind went blank. He didn't have time to get tissue to clean his stomach. Feng Yu had been holding back for over a month, and at this moment, it was both thick and abundant, with even a few drops splashing up to his neck. The lust on the man's face had not yet dissipated. The pleasure in his body deeply impacted his brain, causing him to unconsciously let out a comfortable sigh, and his whole body exuded a scent of satisfaction. Although his body had been released, Feng Yu's brain was completely game over. His whole body stiffened instantly, and his little brother in his hand quickly wilted like a withered flower. Chao Ran's gaze swept over Feng Yu. The air was filled with a strong fishy smell. Feng Yu opened his mouth in embarrassment, wanting to say something but unable to utter a single word. In the end, he could only watch as Chao Ran pointed her finger towards the bathroom, then calmly returned to her room. Feng Yu was speechless. His face completely collapsed. He curled his legs and lay slumped on the chair. His whole body huddled into the sofa. It's over. In the afternoon, when he took Chao Ran to the exam venue, the little girl was very considerate and didn't mention what happened at noon. But Feng Yu felt his face burning. He was restless, and his heart was filled with anxiety. Chao Ran glanced at the restless man beside her. She saw him open his mouth as if to speak, but in the end, he said nothing. Perhaps this person was confused. It was better for her not to say anything. But thinking of the spectacular self-directed and self-acted scene at noon, Chao Ran didn't expect Feng Yu to be so bold, and he even enjoyed himself. Every time she thought about it, Chao Ran wanted to laugh. She didn't know how long Feng Yu had been pleasuring himself. When she came out, it was almost time for the alarm to ring. This man had a strong sense of time and wouldn't pleasure himself when she was about to wake up. She was sure that he had started not long after she entered the room. Chao Ran calculated the time, then raised her eyebrows and thought, I didn't expect the self-pleasure time to be so long. It's a pity that the first time was premature ejaculation. What a pity. What a pity. At the exam venue, Chao Ran got out of the car directly. Seeing Feng Yu's uncomfortable restraint, she still thought it was better to let him calm down by himself. As soon as Chao Ran left, the tense muscles on Feng Yu's body instantly relaxed. He quickly lowered the window to let the air circulate. Feng Yu looked out the window and secretly cursed himself for being perverted. After Chao Ran finished her exam, he would immediately roll back to the police station. Chao Ran was not bad at math. She did her problems very quickly and performed consistently. After the exam, many people walked out with furrowed brows, but Chao Ran felt extremely relieved. Feng Yu sat upright in the car. Seeing Chao Ran return, he proactively opened the car door. How was it? Chao Ran sat in the passenger seat, buckled her seatbelt, and replied casually, not bad. Ran. A familiar voice came. Chao Ran poked her head out and saw Gao Yang waving at her not far away. Seeing that Gao Yang had something to say, Chao Ran unbuckled her seatbelt, got out of the car, and walked towards Gao Yang. Feng Yu sat in the driver's seat with a dark expression, watching the two of them standing together, looking incredibly harmonious and well-matched. Feng Yu felt choked with frustration. How was your exam? Gao Yang scratched his head and replied shyly. It was okay. My math is really bad. But I managed to solve a few problems. They were all the geometry problems you taught me. I'm sure I got them right. Hearing Gao Yang say he managed to do a few problems, Chao Ran quickly calculated the approximate score, then smiled and said, That's great. Your results this time will definitely be higher than your final exam results. Half the journey is over. Tomorrow is the English exam. You must remember the methods I taught you. Even if you can't do a question, you must still choose an answer, don't leave it blank. As for the literature exam, choose the easy and short questions first, then move on to the writing section. And finally, remember to carefully check your answers. Gao Yang nodded continuously. his mouth smiling non-stop. Indeed, laughter is contagious. Even Chao Ran couldn't help but smile. "Why are you so happy?" Gao Yang's ears turned red, and he stammered, "I like being told what to do by you. I like being cared for by you. I'm really happy." Chao Ran realized that the person in front of her was extremely simple. Sometimes he could be as domineering as an adult man, and sometimes he was shy and adorable. Chao Ran truly considered Gao Yang a friend, which was why she helped him. "You're my friend, now hurry home." Chao Ran didn't notice the look of loss on Gao Yang's face. After all, the two of them had no chance of being together, and she didn't want him to harbor illusions. Wait a moment. Gao Yang also knew that there was no possibility between him and Chao Ran. The more he interacted with her, the more he realized that Chao Ran was truly wonderful and too outstanding. Gao Yang knew very well that he was not worthy of her. So he had long given up on the idea of pursuing Chao Ran. He only needed to be her friend and quietly protect her. "What's wrong?" Chao Ran tilted her head and asked. "After the exam tomorrow, shall we go to the night market together? I know a lot of delicious snack stalls. Didn't you say you're going to college in another city? While you're still here, I want to take you to many fun places and eateries in our city. You never went out to play before. If someone asks you in college what's famous in your hometown and you don't know anything, it would be very embarrassing." Gao Yang said all that. But in fact, he just wanted to go out with Chao Ran while she was still here. Gao Yang had already chosen his university. Although he really wanted to follow Chao Ran, he couldn't bear to leave his mother at home alone. So he chose to study at a university here. There were still 2 months left, and Gao Yang wanted to leave many memories in Chao Ran's heart. He didn't want Chao Ran to forget him. Adolescent feelings are always innocent and beautiful. Gao Yang liked Chao Ran, but he also recognized the disparity between them. He asked for nothing else, only to be able to be by Chao Ran's side for a little longer. Gao Yang looked at Chao Ran anxiously, his palms sweating. He was afraid Chao Ran would refuse. Chao Ran blinked, then nodded and said, "Okay, I haven't been to the night market before. After the exam tomorrow, wait here." Gao Yang gradually relaxed. He waved at Chao Ran and then quickly ran towards the bus stop. Qiu Nim smiled and returned to the car. Feng Yu's face was as black as the bottom of a pot at this moment. He drove while casually asking, "What kept you chatting for so long?" Qiu Nim played with the shopping bag in her hand and replied, "Cao Duang asked me to go to the night market with him tomorrow after the exam." Feng Yu gripped the steering wheel tightly. It was as if a bottle of seasoning had spilled inside him, making his emotions extremely complex. He almost blurted out, "You can't go," which made him even more uncomfortable. Feng Yu wanted to stop Qiu Nim, but he suddenly realized what right he had to interfere in the little girl's personal affairs. It was impossible to say no to early romance. Qiu Nim was an adult, and after the university entrance exam, she would have plenty of time for entertainment. He had no reason to stop her. Besides, what right did he have to stop Qiu Nim from interacting with other boys? The right of Uncle Feng? Or the right of a guardian? Damn it, he himself was a scoundrel. So what right did he have to say that the men around her were unsafe, when he himself was the most dangerous one? Feng Yu suppressed a surge of anger that couldn't erupt within him. He could only turn his anger into energy to cook a delicious meal for Qiu Nim. He didn't know if he was compensating or trying to please the little girl. Qiu Nim ate very happily. Having someone cook for her made her extremely joyful. So Qiu Nim's mood tonight was exceptionally good, and she slept soundly. At 1:30 a.m. the next day, the door to Qiu Nim's bedroom was gently pushed open. The tall man slowly walked to the little girl's bed. He quietly gazed at her sleeping face under the moonlight. Qiu Nim was truly fast asleep and didn't notice anything. The man's slender fingers gently brushed away a few strands of hair on the little girl's face, revealing her smooth, beautiful face. Her pink lips were slightly parted, and her sleeping posture was very adorable. Feng Yu's expression became somber. He looked at her for a long time, then finally bent down and gently placed a kiss on Qiu Nim's alluring lips. After that, he turned and left. The door closed, and Kyunim immediately opened her eyes wide. The warmth and scent of the man still lingered on her soft lips. Kyunim stuck out her tongue and licked her lips, a smile curving at the corners of her mouth. The next day's exam went even more smoothly. Kyunim performed very well, solving most of the questions quickly. In the afternoon after the exam, everyone was completely relaxed. Whether it was parents, teachers, or students, the heavy stone in their hearts had disappeared. The end of the university entrance exam was also when students began to let loose and have fun. As soon as Cao Duong left the exam venue, he immediately ran to the agreed meeting point to wait for Kyunim. Whether by coincidence or intention, Feng Yu's car was also parked there. As soon as Cao Duong arrived, he saw Feng Yu leaning against the car door. After learning that Feng Yu was an elder in Kyunim's family, Cao Duong's attitude immediately changed. He ran over to curry favor with Feng Yu. "Uncle Feng, are you here to pick up Nim? Feng Yu looked at the male student in front of him, assessing him from head to toe, and finally gave a lukewarm, This kid was deliberately dressed up today, with neatly combed hair, a t-shirt, jeans, and white shoes. He exuded youthful vitality, looking both fresh and handsome. Feng Yu unconsciously looked down at himself. He was casually wearing a shirt and rough pants, and even his shoes were chosen haphazardly. Compared to the kid in front of him, he looked much older and stiffer. Feng Yu gritted his teeth and looked directly into Cao Duong's eyes. "Are you going to the night market with Nim later?" Cao Duong suddenly felt like he was being interrogated by his girlfriend's parents. Even though Kyunim wasn't his girlfriend, Cao Duong nervously clutched the corner of his shirt and awkwardly replied, "Yes, I'm taking Nim for a walk. After graduation, there will be fewer opportunities to meet, so I want to create some beautiful memories." Beautiful memories? After hearing this, Feng Yu gritted his teeth, wishing he could kick this brat into the sewer not far away. Chao Ran walked out of the crowd. Gao Yang saw Chao Ran and breathed a sigh of relief. Waving at her, Ran. Chao Ran had arrived. For some reason, she felt the atmosphere between these two was a bit unusual. She looked at the sweat pouring down Gao Yang's forehead, then looked at Feng Yu. With just a glance, she could tell that Feng Yu had completely crushed the other person. Chao Ran's eyes held a smile. She handed the bag to Feng Yu and said to him, "We're leaving first." Feng Yu clutched the bag so tightly that his fingertips turned white. "Don't you need me to take you?" Chao Ran shook her head. "It's not that far. We can go by ourselves." The little girl finished speaking and walked ahead to lead the way. Gao Yang turned to Feng Yu and said, "Uncle Feng, see you again." Feng Yu watched the two walk away side by side, feeling stifled and uncomfortable. Finally, he couldn't help but blurt out, Ran, remember to be home before 10 o'clock tonight." Chao Ran was startled. She turned her head to look into the other person's eyes. After a long while, she nodded and replied, "I remember." The night market was truly bustling. Chao Ran had never been here before, and she didn't even know there was such a fun place near the school. Not only did it have a lot of delicious food, but it also had all sorts of games. The night market opened very early, starting at 5 p.m. Chao Ran and Gao Yang arrived at the market at 6 p.m. At this time, there weren't too many people yet, so they didn't need to queue to buy food. Chao Ran didn't eat street food. When she was little, Wang Fang once bought her a grilled sausage, and its delicious taste stayed with her for a long time. Later, Wang Fang remarried Feng Yu, but eventually ran away with her lover, taking Feng Yu's money. Occasionally, when she remembered the taste of that sausage, she would crave it so much it was unbearable. At those times, she would follow her memory and run to the small stall from years ago to buy one. The stall owner was still the same person, and their skill hadn't changed, but she felt that the sausage no longer tasted as good as it did back then. Feng Yu was busy with work, so much so that he often neglected her. Sometimes, due to sudden assignments, Feng Yu would even forget that there was a child at home. It was normal for him not to return home for half a month. At first, Chao Ran starved, but eventually, it became a habit. She then found ways to cook for herself. Gradually, Chao Ran learned to cook simple dishes, But eating alone was boring. Plus she was lazy, so in the mornings, she would just buy bread or steamed buns to eat. This was her first time visiting a night market since she was little. Everything here was new and interesting. Gao Yang's mood gradually relaxed when he saw that Chao Ran liked the night market. Chao Ran's ethereal and otherworldly demeanor seemed out of place here, so before bringing her, he had always worried that she wouldn't like such a noisy and crowded place. Gao Yang's eyes lit up as he looked at the girl beside him. He took a deep breath and pulled Chao Ran's wrist. Chao Ran was slightly surprised. Gao Yang, who was always so proper, made such a move. Gao Yang deliberately ignored Chao Ran's gaze. After all, there would be few opportunities to meet in the future. He wanted to be brave and do what he wanted to do just this once. Gao Yang's heart pounded violently in his chest, and his neck turned red. He pretended to be calm and pulled Chao Ran forward. "What do you want to eat? All the snack stalls here are delicious." The tall boy's voice was slightly trembling. Chao Ran noticed that Gao Yang's palms were covered in sweat. She chuckled softly and replied, "Can you recommend 1 or 2 delicious dishes?" Seeing that Chao Ran didn't struggle or refuse, Gao Yang was so happy he almost jumped up. He really wanted to go back to school and run 50 laps around the field. "The grilled flour cakes are very delicious. Let me buy some for you." Gao Yang felt like he was floating. He pulled Chao Ran to the grilled flour cake stall and bought 2 skewers. In a hidden corner not far away, a man wearing a mask stared at the 2 people talking and laughing in front. His sharp eyes focused intently on Chao Ran's held wrist. His large hand clenched tightly, then suddenly slammed against the wall. "Grilled flour cakes are best eaten immediately." Gao Yang handed Chao Ran the non-spicy skewer and thoughtfully gave her a tissue. "Use this. Don't get your hands dirty." Chao Ran happily accepted. The 2 walked and ate. So delicious. Chao Ran had never eaten grilled flour cakes before, so she was very curious about their taste. She took a bite. The sauce on the outside was both fragrant and rich. Gao Yang also took a big bite. He tilted his head to look at the girl happily eating beside him. At this moment, she looked like a well-behaved little cat, gentle and adorable. The 2 walked and ate, while the man behind them walked leisurely. But in reality, he was very upset, and his eyes never left Chao Ran for even a second.